there's been a lot of car wrecks lately of people who are eyewitnesses.
Yep.
So that's how they like to get rid of people. And in my case, the former county attorney, Duke Brassfield in Tipton County, he was at the country club and made the statement, "You're going to rue the day you railroaded Mike Parsons because he's not going to stop fighting. He's not going to roll over, and somebody's going to listen to him, and they're going to come in here and investigate, and all y'all going to prison." 2 weeks later, the official story was he ran through a stop sign, hit a tree head-on, and fire ensued from his brand-new 2012 Cadillac Escalade blowing up, and he died in the fire. Well, the guy that worked at the prison told me that his nephew worked as a sheriff's deputy in Fayette County where it happened, and said the back end of his Escalade was crushed in, looked like a dump truck, shoved it into that tree, and he said there were skid marks for almost 200 feet where he'd locked up the brakes. And, oh, by the way, there's an automatic fuel safety shutoff so that if you have a front-end collision, it shuts off the fuel pump so you don't get fuel coming out. And just the whole thing of it where he says something and immediately he dies.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a couple of reasons why this is a lie, and we'll go over them because I think this is one of the more interesting. Oh, yes, they're all interesting. This is an interesting lie by Mike, and let's start with the most obvious reason why this is a lie. Let's get the highlighter here. Problem number one: Brassfield died in April of 2010. So, Mike's claim that he was driving a brand new Cadillac Escalade from 2012 is impossible. That car would not be released for another 2 years. That's a pretty stupid. That's a pretty stupid discrepancy. Maybe he just got the year wrong. The other big problem is, again, April 15th. 2010. Where was Mike April 15, 2010? He was in jail. So, how did Mike know that on April 1st, 2010, Brassfield was having a discussion at the country club about Mike Parsons? And I think that's where this gets more interesting because here Mike is claiming to know about a conversation that happened at a country club while he was in jail. So he had no way of knowing that that conversation took place. Worse yet, he's claiming that Brassfield was killed because he opposed Mike's incarceration, I guess, which simply isn't possible. But actually, let's the reason it looks like the reason Mike knew about Brassfield is that when Mike was suing Tennessee over the election, Brassfield, you can see here, Brassfield was the attorney for the Covington, for Tennessee, or the state, or the county. So it looks like that's where Mike gets mixed up with Brassfield. So it looks like Mike has been carrying that chip on his shoulder, or that grudge, for 12 years. Also interesting, and these are minor. These are minor points, but it kind of shows you how Mike's mind works. Okay. Mike does get it right that Brassfield ran a stop sign. But then where Mike gets it wrong, that Mike says that he hit a tree. That's not true. We can see here. Actually, all right, let's go down the list of problems. Brassfield was driving a Chevy Suburban. I don't think we need to explain that a Chevy Suburban and a Cadillac Escalade are different cars. Mike says that he struck a tree. That's not actually what happened. He hit a dirt embankment and then traveled up a hill. after that point. So tree did not happen. The vehicle fire did happen. However, Brassfield was removed from the vehicle before it caught on fire. And also, as it says here, Browning, it says the accident is still under investigation and may not be a motor vehicle fatality, which implies that maybe he had like a heart attack or something. The idea that he died at the crash, it's not true. And I haven't been able to find a follow-up article that shows what actually happened at that. Anyways, as Mike says that he died in the fire. That's not true. Brassfield was removed from the vehicle before it was engulfed by flames. Then he died. He died at the scene, but he didn't die in the flames. He didn't burn to death. So there's a couple of things here. Mike gets pretty much all the, well, most if not all of the pertinent details. He gets a year wrong. He gets the car wrong. The tree dying in the fire. Pretty much all of it wrong. And then he fabricates a theory about Brassfield saying at a country club that he had died, that he was warning them that the people in Tip-Tip County, the government officials in Tip-Tip County would be arrested for prosecuting Mike Parsons. A conversation that he could not possibly have heard about because he was in jail at the time. Number one, number two, who would have told Mike about that? So, okay, so that's what I think is interesting here, because is Mike making that up for Rudy's benefit, or more interesting, I think Mike could have received the Covington leader while he was in jail in Tipton County, read about it, and somehow in his weird little brain decided that, oh, they must have killed Brassley to shut him up, which would make this some sort of paranoid delusion, and Mike really does believe that this is going on. And there are indications throughout the trial that and afterwards that Mike really does have some sort of mental problems, and there's even one of the evaluations said that Mike had some sort of brain problems. I think this might be one of those cases.